Well, that was interesting. I just spent an hour on the phone with a lady in the Philippines who told me how to make my flip camera work again. So there's something fragile about the file transfer system in these things. But what I had to do was delete everything off of the flip drive, and some of the files were hidden. Couldn't do it on the PC I have at work. No matter how smart you are, here's the deal. No matter how smart you are, you will end up talking to some lady in the Philippines to solve your problems. That's just the way the world works now. Live by it. Well, I thought for sure I had killed this camera today, but it seems to be working again. The thing is, well, it's a long story that you wouldn't enjoy, but the camera's working. You can see that, so all is well. There's some trucks and cars and stuff over there, and a guy using a flag for a garage door. American flag. There's a guy standing by a truck talking to a guy in a truck. You see that every once in a while, this part of the world. There's Phil. Tom would be right there if he'd have come to work today. He's probably sick or something. Who knows? I could cast all manner of aspersions against the man, but I like Tom, and I don't want to do that. Besides, the only thing I could think of to say about anybody else that was negative or even accurate, neutral, would just be something out of my repertoire of what the stupid junk I've been doing for the last 62 years was anyway. It wouldn't have nothing to do with anybody else, other than just to speculate that something stupid that I know about might apply to another human being with a whole separate life. There's no value in talking about things like that, especially on YouTube, on a channel that nobody ever watches but my mother. And she has never even made a comment. I think she still loves me though. She just probably don't care much for these stupid videos. I understand that. Well, I was going to jump out in front of all these cars, but that other car back there from the other direction was zipping out of here so quick that I didn't want to take the chance of having to deal with a bunch of crumpled metal and noise and people's emotions and insurance companies and all that stuff. You know, so I just didn't. I waited. It'll turn out for the best. The guy over there sitting down on the curb enjoying the rain, I guess. Now here you got a night game going on. See them lights up there? Yeah, that's what that means. There's a night game. Whoops, we better be careful. We got some girls playing basketball, I guess, over here. I don't see a night game, but they might be testing the lights, or something might be just about to get ready to happen. Look here. The birds are playing baseball. Seagulls. And crows. Mostly seagulls, but there were a few crows intermixed with them out there. I like it when different species get along. It's kind of like when the IT guy says, "Oh, this printer is broken, call the printer repairman." And I come in and I say, I'm the printer repairman, and I say, "Oh, this printer is fine, there's something wrong with the network, let's call the IT guy." And the lady at the printer says, "Oh, well, he's the one who told me to call you." And I go, uh-oh, this is one of those kind of deals, huh? Where we just gonna pass a buck back and forth. Both go home and that lady's not gonna be able to print anyways. So, you know, sometimes I end up being a network guy too a little bit, but I forgot what I was talking about. Man, it's fun just being stupid and not really caring. I can just talk anyway. And I don't have to go back and figure out what it was I was gonna say or nothing. There's a trailer, look at that, see? So, my life is pretty much easier being, you know, not striving to be among the most intelligent of those still living while I was on the planet. There's a mailman. I think it's a man. Got a funny hat on, I couldn't really tell. Here's somebody got their car in the garage. Their garage is a canvas car cover. We all have to have our cars to go get into, but we all get right back out of them again when we're done too. There's a lawn service truck. There's a crow. Now, there's that boat again. Remember that boat? Ever tell you about that boat? I don't know anything about that boat. The guy back there on a bicycle, he's got his high beam on. I'm gonna have to flip my mirror up so the glare don't singe my eyeballs. I'm just kidding. I can barely tell he's there. Now here's a big old thing. I really don't have any use for it myself, but maybe the guy who owns that chair does. Oh, look. See how the wires go up the hill there? Electrical wires up above, behind that green light up there. Then on top of the hill you can see where they just kind of bust right through the trees and keep going. Yeah, it's the way we do things here in America. We just kind of bust through and keep going. Put electricity wherever we might want it. And I can see a bunch of traffic stopped down there with nowhere to go, but I'm not going to show it to you. It'll just depress you. We'll just pray for better things on our trip home. Oh man. But the train's going. You might want to see that. The train moving down there. Yeah, see, we should have took TriMet tonight. TriMet don't really go to where I work, so I take the truck. You know, a couple hundred years ago when they didn't have printer technicians, first off, but when some guy like me doing something, whatever you'd have been doing 200 years ago instead of fixing printers, when he was going home from work, he probably wouldn't have got very put out with something like a car coming by at 65 miles an hour and sliding over in front of him in a lane or something, you know, cutting him off like that. Things that makes me wonder how deep that person is really thinking and stuff. And I wonder whatever their priorities are, could probably use some help. But until we had automobiles and printers to fix and all that kind of stuff, it really wasn't that big a deal for people to. I mean, you would have thought it was a thrill, is what I should say, for somebody to come along in an automobile and cut you off. That would have been a treat to be able to see that, you know. It probably would have self-destructed trying to drive that fast without a road, but 200 years ago the roads were a little rougher, I think. But it's a wonder. The point is that we live in a beautiful time. It's a wonderful time. There's a lot of stuff going on that you can appreciate, and we don't have to hate each other. You know, it's worth a little effort to find something to love about people, even if they're just, you know, stinking up your front door on purpose or something, you know. Look at this guy, he's pretty tough on that, a truck like that, wouldn't you think? Yeah, it says Husky on his toolbox. Probably a big old guy. Husky. I have a feeling that I'm doing a lot of talking right now, and you probably noticed that too. I give you credit for noticing things. Even though you never watch my videos, and even though there is no you, vicariously, you are alive in this camera. And you are here with me and the little GPS lady in this truck. Though I have her in my pocket right now, I didn't turn her on. There's your 24-hour fitness. I have have a membership to that. I'm gonna go up there again one of these days and work up a sweat. There's a lot of people up there sometimes, though. You want to be careful you don't go when it's so crowded you can't get a machine to sweat on, you know. Flesh and blood needs to sweat. I think that's probably a fair statement. I think I'm suffering from vlog deprivation is probably the problem, because I have not vlogged most of the day today, thinking my camera was gonna die and that it only had 33 minutes and 58 seconds of time to vlog on it anyway, and I used most of that up on the way to work. Well, now here's that guy that I was talking so nice about. Now he's up here cutting me off to get over here in the lane I'm in after I cut this guy off to get in the lane he was in. There's the river. Here's this guy here. He wants to get ahead of me. It's pretty important to him, so I'm going to let him do it. I don't really care. It says, roller derby saved my soul on the back of that car up top of the center of the rear window. Probably pretty hard to see, but it does. Roller derby saved my soul. This one says, peace, let it begin with me. Ooh, he's preaching at me now, isn't he? Look at this truckload of pipes up there. Can you see that in front of this truckload of stuff we don't get to know about because it's in a box? That's plastic pipe. Look at that. Big ones on top. Okay, now why do you think they put the big ones on top on a truckload of plastic pipe? Uh-oh, this guy's got some trouble. Anything we could do with a load of plastic pipe that would help you out? See, they put the little ones on top. They can probably stand the weight better, don't you think? If you had the big diameter pipes on the bottom, the weight of the little ones, which are more dense because they're closer together, more plastic, more weight, would press down on them and they'd be more susceptible to crunching into a heap of useless pukey barf. Plastic pukey barf. You know, I think I like my camera. Doing an awful lot of talking now that it's working again. I've been talking for 20 minutes. If I could just come up with something to say that drew people closer to God, I could preach. If I can talk that long, I could be a preacher. Now my problem is, on the one day that I talk that long all at once, I still don't have anything to say. Here's somebody back here that likes to go faster than this on a road like this. Not too hard to find somebody that thinks you're driving too slow these days. Pretty easy to do. I do it all the time. And there he goes. Okay, we're home. Let's check the mail. I have 6 gigabytes of RAM in my iMac. How many do you have in your UMac? Do you have 6 giggers? Because if you want to be as cool as me, that's pretty much what it'll take. I'm just watching some people walking their dog. You've done it before. Don't look at me funny. You roll up your window when you park your truck in the garage. It'll keep the skunks out of your cab. But that's only true if you got skunks in your garage. Things like that are pretty obvious.